You are now listening to the Bayshore Community Church podcast. Our mission is to connect to God, connect to people, and to serve the community. Thank you for joining us today, and wherever you are listening, we hope that this message inspires you, encourages you, and transforms you. Our prayer is that this is just the beginning of a conversation between you and Jesus. Enjoy the message.
Listen, Lainey singing that last song, I don't know if you know who Lainey is, she crushed it. It's different for me because Lainey is Bo Dukes' daughter, and I remember Bo leading worship when we were in like high school together. We went to like a small Christian school, and he had a Paul Reed Smith guitar, and he'd like sing and lead worship. And now I'm up here, and his daughter is leading worship, and I'm thinking, we are old, so old. On the way to church today, Stacey's like, your eyebrows are real bushy, and I'm like, I am old. I am so old. Anyway, church, how y'all doing? Is anybody glad to be here? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Man, I'm so psyched that you're here. If this is your first time in the basement or your 1,000th time in the basement, okay? Charles, 1,000th time, okay? However many times you've been here, I'm so thankful you all are here. I am so glad you're here. You could be anywhere right now. You could be asleep right now. Some of you are like, I will, 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. But you could be asleep right now. You could be on some beach somewhere right now. You could be asleep on some beach right now. I mean, the possibilities are endless, really. But you chose church, and I love that. And so thanks so much for being here. Honestly, I'm a little surprised y'all came back. After last weekend, I'm pretty sure I successfully offended everybody in the room. And that's because we're in this series called I'm Offended, and if you missed last weekend's message, it'll be on the internet for as long as the internet exists and as long as MediaCom is working. Which would be never. There we go. Okay. If you work for MediaCom, don't be offended. Okay. Anyway, hey, I'm calling today's message Those People. You see it? Those people. Everybody say those people. All right, some of you are like, oh, those people. I got so many of those people in my life. Like the Lord gave me the those people lottery. I got those people everywhere. How many of you think you know what I mean when I say those people? Let me see your hands if you think I know, if you know what I mean. No, don't point at each other. Now, maybe you're like, I don't know what a those people person. Am I like a those people person? Probably. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. But I thought I'd give you a story to kind of set up what those people is all about. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, my family, we took a staycation. We stayed and we cationed, you know what I'm saying? And one day we took our kids to the Splash Mountain Water Park in Ocean City. And I remember it real well because it cost $144.19. And maybe you're like, well, that's not that much money. Listen, are you a pastor? Is your nickname Pastor Tice? I don't think so. Okay, so anyway, I'm like, we're going to get our money's worth, kids. Like, we're going to show up early. We're going to leave late. We're not going to leave till the cops kick us out. We're going to you're going to smile on every picture. It's costing Pastor Tice $144.19. So we got there early because we're going to get our money's worth. Is anybody like this? Does anybody do this? Oh, yeah. So we got there early, got there 30 minutes early, and Jolly Rogers put us in this holding tank with 100 other cheap people. And so, I took a picture of us in the holding tank. This is the holding tank right here, and these are, all the cheapskates, all right? Everybody in this room, all the parents are like, no, kids, you cannot get a soda. That is not included in $144.19, no sodas. And so we're in this holding tank, and you see this, hole right there, that gap? All right, in that gap, I took this picture after sort of an event happened in the room. In that gap was about 73 people that were definitely those people. Very those people. Because this family of 73 decided in the holding tank, this is a great place to apply aerosol spray tan lotion on every inch of all 73 people in our family's bodies, okay? And I'm pretty sure, Stacey, correct me if I'm wrong, they use 73 bottles. One per person. Listen, I don't know if you've ever applied aerosol suntan lotion spray on yourself while in a phone booth. But I pretty much have SPF 50 on my pancreas still. And so I videoed them, all right? So here's a video of them in the phone booth taking, putting their aerosol on. This is them. I'm not kidding. This is what it looked like in the holding tank. And so we're in there, and they're just like, they're just completely oblivious to everybody in the room. And listen, if I die in the next 2 weeks, don't do an autopsy, okay? I'm dying of secondhand aerosoling. That's what it is. And they are totally clueless that they were doing this, and everybody else is like, and so can we go back to the picture of the room, if you could? All right, this lady right here, she's normal. Not one of those people. She's normal. She had enough. And she was like, hey, would you chill out with the suntan spray? I got it on my pancreas. And we'll call her Banana Boat, the leader of the 73 family, okay? She just looked at her like, and then she looked at me, the leader of those people. She looked at me, and I'm like, don't bring me into this. I'm just writing all this down for a message illustration, okay? But all 73 of that family, they were definitely those people. How many of you have run into those people before? You run into those people? Yeah, listen, you can't go anywhere without seeing those people. You work with those people. You may be related to those people. Those people are definitely in the Walmarts. There may be even some of those people in the room. So everybody turn to the person next to you and say, are you one of those people? Are you of those people? Listen, I know everybody's like, no, it's not me. Listen, our family has been those people before. We've been those people. Okay, so like for instance, in the spring, we took our kids to a Shorebirds baseball game over in Salisbury. And we went because our kids' school was like, kids, if you read 4 books, your family will get 4 free tickets to the Shorebirds game. And I was like, you have me at free. Okay, so I was like, kids, you're going to do this for your father. You've been taken for 8 years. It's time for a contribution, all right? And so my kids read their 4 books, or at least I think they did. I don't know. I signed the paper. Is what I did. And so we get to the game. Our tickets are amazing. And the Shorebird staff, they gave my kid Nixon a T-shirt just for being like a cute kid in the stands. I took a picture of my boy Nixon with this is him. It's a tad big. It's going to make a great bedspread this winter, though, so it's going to be fine. But these were our seats. Those are great seats, right? I thought, man, the school spared no expense for these seats. This is fantastic. And so we sit down, and in the first inning, this family of 4 came and sat in the 2 seats next to us. 4 people, 2 seats. And I'm like, oh, those people. So the kids are sitting in their parents' lap, and the parents are staring at our family the whole time. I'm like, why don't you weirdos quit being cheapskates and buy your kids some tickets? Those people, So we're just sitting there. We watched the whole game like that. They stared at us the whole time, these weirdos, okay? So we leave. We're going home. And on our way home, Stacy's looking at her tickets, and she says, oh, no. I said, oh, what? And she said, we were sitting in the wrong seats. I was like, oh, that's why those teenagers sitting in their parents' seat, in their lap the whole time. We were those people. And so, listen, you're probably not those people, but let's define those people to just kind of like figure out if you are or not. Okay, so those people are the people in your life that are challenging, critical, controlling, mean, inconsiderate, know-it-alls. Who knows some of those people? Woo! And listen, it is a scientific fact that every family has at least one of those people in it. They do. They're the ones who come to Thanksgiving dinner and they say to you, oh, you've gained some weight since last Thanksgiving. Should you be eating that? I assume you're still single. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving. Who has this person in your family? Come on, who has some? Yeah? If you're like, I don't think we have one of those people in our family. Yeah, you do. It's you. But listen, those people are the people in our life that are challenging, critical, controlling, mean, inconsiderate, know-it-alls. And so today, I want to talk about how do we honor those people in our life. Because if you're a Jesus follower, now if you're not a Jesus follower, you're off the hook on all this, all right? But if you're a Jesus follower, we got to love those people. We got to love those neighbors. We got to love that aunt. Hello. Some of you are like, I'm offended that you would consider me loving that aunt, okay? So listen, I don't want to love that person either. I would just love to like church chop those people, you know what I'm saying? And so we all kind of feel that way about those people, but how do we honor and love those people? Because as Jesus followers, that's what we are called to do. So I don't on my own know how to do that, but the Bible gives us some great tips. And so let me start there, and we're going to be in Ephesians chapter 4, starting at verse 26 today. And think about those people. All right, a lot of you just said, wow, that's a lot of verses. All right, so just hang with me. Let's go from the top. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. And do not give the devil a foothold. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only that which is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling, and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. Now, I know all of you are like, okay, if that's what I'm going to do with those people, I'm going to pack up, I'm going to go to the beach, because I ain't going to do that. Listen, can I be real? Can I just tell you what I'm thinking? Some of you are like, I'm pretty sure that's all you do, Joel. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm offended by that. I don't want to do that for those people. Who's like, I don't want to do that? I don't want to do that. Come on, raise your hand if you don't want to do this. The rest of you, I can't see you because the glare off your halo is so bright. This is a lot to take in, all right? So I'm not ready for all that. So I thought maybe let's just do baby steps. Let's just kind of work through this from the top. Is that okay? Okay, from the top, and we'll go to we'll highlight that first part. In your anger, do not sin. Now, I like this part. This is one of my favorite parts of the verse, because this means that it's possible to be angry and not sin. Woo! Glory to God. Someone, high fives, air high fives all around. I need to know that I can be angry sometimes, because every single time I go into the Royal Farms and I'm in line and there's 3 self-checkout kiosks in front of me ready for all of your scanning needs, all of those people in front of me, do they use the kiosks? No. They just stand there with their Yoo-hoo like, no, I need a real person to scan my Yoo-hoo. No, you don't. It's 2022. You have a robot vacuum that you talk to. Okay, you can scan your Yoo-hoo. Okay, now I'm starting to feel like sin. Okay, so maybe I went a little too far there, but listen, you can't go anywhere or be around anybody without feeling offended or angry sometimes. You know what the phrase is? Anger happens. Offense happens. Is that maybe that's not the phrase, but I don't think we can say the actual phrase in church. But here's what some of you are like, I just got that. Can we throw that quote on the screen? Here's what I know. Getting offended and angry is inevitable. But living offended and angry is a choice. Getting offended and angry, that's going to happen, okay? You're going to go to the Royal Farms. It is going to happen. But living that way, it is a choice. Can I get a reluctant amen? Amen. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so baby steps. So we got through that baby step. Let's keep moving on to the next part of this. It says, do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold. Okay, everybody say foothold. Okay, now I don't know if you know this, but the New Testament was written in Greek, and I do not know Greek, but I do know how to use the Google. And I don't know if you saw what Abraham Lincoln put out on TikTok this week. Everything you read on the internet is true. But according to Google, and I'm going to say this is true, this word foothold is the word topos in Greek. All right, so let's put topos on the screen. Topos means to give access to a place or a room. To give access to a place or a room, which means when you choose to live offended and angry, you're giving the devil a foothold, also known as a place, access to your heart. When you have anger and offense, you're giving the devil access to your heart. Now, I don't think you want to do that. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think you want to give the wrong person access in your life. Trust me. Well, let me give you an example of why you don't want to do that, okay? So I love a lot of things. I love my smoking hot wife. I love our children. I love this church. I love you all. I love pets that are dressed in people clothes. I love so many things, but I don't love anything as much as I love YouTube. Just kidding. I should make a clarification. I love you more than YouTube, baby. But I love YouTube. Who loves YouTube? Anybody love some YouTube? Oh, man, we should get YouTube like the symbol tattooed on our face, like Mike Tyson. That's probably a little too far. But anyway, I love YouTube, and I love YouTube because I invested about 10 years of my life, 10, I would say 10, into the YouTube algorithm, just searching through stuff so it would know what to recommend that I watch. Anybody know what I'm talking about? And YouTube, it got to a point a couple years ago where YouTube knew me completely. Everything it would say is like, Joel, do you want to watch a video of somebody grilling the most expensive steak in the world and eating it? And I'm like, absolutely, yes, I do. Do you want to see how Kit Kat bars are made? Who wouldn't want to see that? Do you want to watch a 7-hour video of dogs in people clothes? That's what I want to spend the next 7 hours of my life doing. Yes, I do. YouTube knew me completely until one day, a couple years ago, it started recommending like fidget spinner videos and face moisturizer videos. I'm like, do you even know me anymore, YouTube? Are you cheating on me, YouTube? Who knows what happened? My family got into my YouTube account, and so the algorithm got all messed up, and it's still messed up. It's still just recommending all this stuff, and I just go with it. Like, for instance, last weekend, my kids went camping with their grandparents, and so my kids weren't even in the house. And my kids and I, we watched this thing on YouTube called Brave Wilderness. I don't know if anybody watches Brave Wilderness with Coyote. Oh, there we go. Coyote, there he is. It's basically this outdoors guy who makes videos for 7-year-olds. And so we watch Coyote and Brave Wilderness all the time. But last weekend, it was Saturday, my kids weren't even in the house. And YouTube was like, do you want to see Coyote get covered in chiggers? It's made a video for 7-year-olds. I'm like, I sure do want to watch this. And so listen, my kids, my wife got access to my YouTube account, and this is who I am now. I'm watching 7-year-old videos. This is me. And listen, you don't want to give the wrong person access in your life. And when you choose to live offended and angry, that means you give the devil access to your heart. And he will change your heart's algorithm. He will steal your joy. You will start doing things that you're not proud of. So I don't know about you, but I don't want to give the devil access to my heart. Anybody with me? Because you know who's in my heart? I told you earlier. Jesus. And my wife. And my kids. And my church. And YouTube. There it is. And Taco Rio, whatever. We can put it all in there. Listen, I don't want anything to ruin those things. And so you don't want to give the devil access to your heart, and anger and offense puts that there when we choose to live that way. And speaking of our heart, that verse, I don't know if we can go back on the verse thing, but that verse says, don't let the sun go down while you are still angry. Come on, who has heard this? Who's heard it before? Woo! Yes, okay. You know what this means? This verse means, and we'll put this on the screen. It means that the day that you get or give hurt should also be the day that you get or give healing. The day that you get hurt, in Jesus' worldview, how he would have it go, if everything was perfect, the day you got hurt would be the day that you got healing. Come on, who wouldn't be upset with that? And also the day that we give her would also be the same day that we would give healing. So, where are my married people at? Married people, raise your hand and keep them up. If you're married, just point at the ring finger, whatever you got to do. If you're single, look around for who isn't raising their hand. This is an opportunity, it's a moment. Look, you never waste any moments, people. All right, so married people, we got some married people in the room. How many of you married people, you remember your first married fight? Who remembers your first married fight? There it is. All right, babe. I was just waiting to see if you raise your hand. Ours happened about 7 hours into our honeymoon. We didn't waste any time. And I remember what it was about. I'm not going to go into that. But I do remember that it was my fault. Now, there you go. Listen. All the men are like, we get it. We get it. But listen, and I'm not saying this for brownie points. 95% of our fights are my fault. The other 5% also somehow become my fault. All right, I don't know. I'll take you anywhere you want to go for lunch today, babe. I'm sorry for that comment. But Stacy and I, we try not to go to sleep mad at each other. So that means that sometimes we'll start fighting on Monday, and we'll go to sleep around Thursday or Friday. You know what I'm saying? No, but I said we try not to go to sleep mad at each other, but we will get in bed mad at each other. Come on, somebody. Who's ever played the get in bed mad game? Who's played the get in bed mad game? Some of you are lying right now. Listen, it's a game. There's a point system to it, okay? You get a point if you get in bed back to back. You don't want to be mad and be face to face, okay? You got to be butt to butt, people. And you get a point. You get a point if you huff. You get a point for this. This is my favorite move, all right? You get a point if you grab the edge of the blanket and you do the human tornado. That's my favorite move right there all day long. You can lose points in this game too, okay? Like if your foot accidentally drifts into enemy territory and it touches their foot, you lose a point. You lose a point. Now, ladies, you can gain a point in this moment. If his foot touches your foot, you just say, hey, don't you be touching my toe. You ain't getting no toe action. You ain't going to be getting toe action for a long time after this night, buddy. That's, ladies, how you can get a point back. And everybody knows this. You lose the game if you talk first. Right? You just keep your mouth shut, like as long as you can. Like you just hold out, buddy. Come on. So who's played the get in bed mad game? You played it before? It's good, man. Some of the single people are like, I'd do anything for some toe action right now. Hey, we're having fun. We're in church. It's okay. But listen, I'm not saying this to like toot us up or like brag or anything, but Stacy and I in the last like 15 years of marriage, I think we've gone to sleep mad at each other maybe less than 10 times. And that's all because of my wife. She gets all the credit for that. Now, we've gone to bed mad at each other, but we try not to go to sleep mad at each other. And I think that's why we have an amazing relationship. And I mean, I don't want to brag, but there's a lot of toe action. So I want to take you out wherever you want for dinner and lunch after that. But listen, question. What would happen in our marriages? What would happen in our families? What would happen in our friendships? What would happen at work? What would happen on social media? What would happen in our churches if the same day that you got hurt was also the same day that you got healing? What if it was the same day you gave hurt was the same day you gave the gift of healing to somebody else? Wouldn't our relationships be amazing? And so let's kind of keep track of this so we don't let the sun go down on our anger. We try not to live offended and angry because that gives the devil access to our heart, and we don't want to do that. So let's keep on going because I think the Wawa subs are coming for the welcome lunch later on, so I'm ready for that. So let's keep moving. Verse 29 says this, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Everybody say, don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth. It's a lot, but there we go. Okay, listen. And my brother can confirm this. I know that verse very well because when we were growing up as kids, my mom quoted this verse to us daily. Hourly, probably. Don't let any unwholesome talk come into your mouth. Now, in my house growing up, like there was no cussing. No cussing. All right, and there wasn't like there was a swear jar because your ashes would go in the jar if you swore. You didn't even say Christian cuss words. Darn, shoot, snap the peas, like nothing. You couldn't say nothing. And if you said anything, Mom was quoting, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth. Okay, so like I told you all last weekend, I don't cuss, all right, because I don't want to end up in a jar. And so I don't cuss, but you know what I do? I do listen to Christmas music all year around. Come on. I started listening to Christmas music this year in July, and I feel your judgment. I feel it from all of you. And I would just like to say that it's okay to sing about Jesus, baby Jesus, 365 days a year. And if you don't think so, well, you'll have to explain yourself to the Lord. No, but I love Christmas music. I love Christmas movies. My favorite is Home Alone. Woo! And if that's not your favorite, that's okay, but you're wrong. And if your favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard, you need a new church, all right? That's what you need. Yes, like there's always Butch and somebody else. But I love Home Alone. I watch Home Alone with my kids every single Christmas, multiple times, and I've had the whole thing memorized, and so I mute it whenever there is a cuss word because I don't want my kids to end up in a jar. And so I'm perfect with my timing on this, okay? At least I thought I was, because my wife reminded me this week that years ago we pulled up to, I think, Arby's, and from the back seat of the car, I know I don't have very good hearing, but it sounded like my daughter said, "Get the beep out of here." Now, again, I told you my hearing is terrible, and so I looked at Stacy, and she's like, "I think Nora just said, 'Get the beep out of here.'" Oh my gosh. And I'm like, Home Alone quote. And then I'm like, no, she didn't say that, because I always like fast forward the part where Gangster Joey, blows snakes out of the water or whatever. And so I'm like, Nora, what did you say back there, honey? And she said, Daddy, "Get the beep out of here." And I'm like, I'm going to need a new job. Okay, I'm going to need a new job. So all of a sudden I was like, Nora, no, do not let any unwholesome talk come to your mouth. Like, don't give the devil a foothold, girl. And I felt like I'm my mom. I just turned into my mom right then. But I always thought, don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth. That meant don't cuss. But that's not what that verse means. Some of you are like, whoo. I thought I was going to have to be a mute for the rest of my life. Like, that's 73% of what I say right there. Listen, I don't think don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth is talking about cussing. I think it's way bigger than that. I think it means don't be critical of people. Don't belittle people. Don't cut people down. No more gossiping. When the NFL season starts, Butch, you can't step up on the couch and go beep, 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 beep. It's like Morse code in the living room, you know what I'm saying? And so it kind of saddens me to tell you that any unwholesome talk means any unwholesome talk. Now, if I'm you, I'm thinking well, what else can we say? What is there anything that we're allowed to say? Sure, that verse says that we can say things that are helpful. We can build other people up, give some people some attaboys. And maybe you're hearing this and you're like, oh yeah, sure, of course, give some attaboys and build some people up, but it's easy. I can do all that. Sounds simple. But let's say I didn't know how to do that. How would I not let any unwholesome talk come out of my mouth? So I came up with 5 relation tips. Get it? Relation tips. Tough crowd. I get it. It's okay. I was excited about it. But this is how you can stop that unwholesome talk coming out of your mouth. These 5 relation tips. This is picture worthy. Take a picture of the screen. Some of you are going to need this. Tip number 1. Never call names. I've never called Stacy a turkey butt, and she just said, come over here. That's just, whoo. That's no good. Okay, no, do not call names. Never raise your voice. And I would like to expand this to never text in all caps locks, especially with exclamation points. Listen, I talked to the Lord about this, and if you text that way, you're not going to get into heaven, okay? Like, you're just, you can't, no more texting that way. That's too much, all right? So just lower caps. Never call names. Never raise your voice. Never get historical. You know what they say? If you get historical, people get hysterical, okay? So don't get historical because things go crazy. Never say never or always because that never works. And if you're married, never say divorce. And the most important tip of all is never quote your pastor during a fight. I have enough problems. I don't need to be brought into your problems, all right? So, but relationships. Everybody say relationships. Okay, so we're getting there. We'll get some wholesome talk in there. All right, so let's put this all together so far. We said getting offended and angry is inevitable, but living offended and angry is a choice. We said anger gives the devil access to your heart, and you don't want to do that. And we said the day that you get or give hurt should be the day that you get or give healing. Simple, right? This is simple. This is easy. I'm relaxed. Are you relaxed? Everybody's like, Urgh. Paul's like, okay, all right, you think it's simple? All right, let me give you the last part of this. So the last part is this. In verse 31, Paul says, get rid of how much bitterness? All bitterness, all rage and anger, brawling, slander, along with every form of malice. Now, maybe you're like, well, what else is there? I guess I can't be anything. Okay, Paul's like, no, you can be something. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ and God forgave you. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, all right? People in the back, a Kiki in the back, if I get this wrong, you can correct it on the mic and come up here, anybody if I get this wrong. But I think this verse is saying to get rid of all offense and anger and be kind, compassionate, and forgiving. Did I get that right? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm leaving because I can't do that. Like, I'm out of here. Listen, that is really, man, this is so hard. Can we agree this is hard? Yeah. Yes. Hard stuff. Okay, so I don't totally even know how to do all that, but I do know something, and we'll put this on the screen. I do know that it's easier to be offensive and angry at someone from a distance, just like it's easier to be kind to somebody up close. So it's easier to be offensive and angry with somebody from a distance. Let's start there. And the reason I know this is because I have met some super sweet grannies who on social media can go into Terminator mode. Come on, haven't you ever met some the sweetest, kindest people, and online it's like the Jerry Springer show? You're reading stuff they're typing, you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen that word since middle school. Then you see them in church, you see Granny in church, and she's just she's so sweet. She's cross-stitching like a I love you, Jesus. She's offering you a Werther's original, and you're like, are you the same person? But somehow, being offensive and angry is easier from a distance. And at the same time, being kind is easier up close. Like imagine trying to be kind and compassionate and forgiving from a distance, okay? Kiki, we're far away. I'm sending you kindness from over here to you. I'm going to give you some long distance Western Union compassion, okay? Kiki, I forgive you. It's weird from a distance, right? Somehow those things work better in proximity up close. I've met some really crazy keyboard warriors who in person, they're just kind little kittens. And so somehow when we're close to someone, our differences don't seem just quite as big of a deal. Now I'm gonna tell you a story, and I've been doing this long enough to know that this story, some of you are gonna be like, I'm offended, Joel. I am offended by that story. Listen, I can hear the comments already. I can see the emails already in my inbox at nate@bayshore.com. I can already see. But listen, please, nobody go like keyboard warrior, Terminator granny on me on this. I'm just going to just say, what I'm going to say is going to just be part of the story. I'm not even making a point on like that issue. I'm just going to put it out there. So everybody say this with me. I won't get offended, Joel. I won't get offended. If you do get offended, well, you just lied in church. And that's pretty offensive, okay? Last weekend, my kids went camping with their grandparents. And by the way, where are my camping people at? Who's into camping, glamping, donating your blood to mosquitoes? Where are the people at? Listen, you all are rednecks, all right, Listen, that's not even the offensive part, all right? I am not into camping. I don't get it. The idea of paying $130 a night for a dirt square with a hole in the ground for sewer and a power outlet. Call me bougie, but that sounds like a terrible investment. And do you know how many power outlets I have in my house already? It's a treasure trove of power outlets. I mean, I don't even know. It's an uncountable amount, and they're just in my house, so I just like to use them. All right. So anyway, last weekend my kids went camping at Frontier Town with their grandparents. And listen, those people were everywhere. I mean, I didn't see a shirt on somebody for the next 3 hours. It's like, I think it's illegal to wear a shirt while you're camping. And it was 9:30 in the morning. People were driving their golf carts drunk at 9:30 in the morning. It made driving through Dewey look like the Pope was in town at Dewey. Again, we're not even to the offensive part yet, okay? So hang with me. So we go there, and Stacy's parents have their campsite right here, and their friend's campsite is right here. So they're side by side. And I know their friend, all right? I've known their friend for years, and their friend is one of my favorite people, one of the nicest people in the world. So I'm talking to him, and he's like, hey, Joel, you see my flagpole? And everybody there, if you're camping, you have a flagpole. Like it's like a camp thing. I don't know. So I looked, and he had a flagpole, and he's like, you see my flag up there? Now, thick-skinned people. Thick skin. You good? All right. Nobody throw anything at me. If you need to email me, nate@bayshore.com. I'm not even making a statement. I'm just going to say what the flag said. The flag said, don't blame me. And by the way, don't cheer or boo for this. Don't blame me. I voted for Trump. Are we good? Everybody's still in the room. Okay. Is anybody as nervous as I am? Okay. No, but that's what it said. So Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, and Librarians, just hang with me. I'm not making a position. I'm just saying this is what the flag said. And then the friend said, I'm a Democrat. I'm like, man, that aerosol can and that's Jolly Rogers. It's messed up my brain, all right? Because I saw the flag and he said, I'm a Democrat. And I'm like, and so he was like, here's why that flag is up there. He said, my kids played a joke on me. He said, my kids know I'm a Democrat. And so they put that flag up on my flagpole. And then he said this, and this is the point of the story. All right, he said, I left it there because I love my kids more than my politics, and I didn't want to fight about it. Whew! I hope you weren't offended so much that you didn't hear that mic drop of a comment. He said, I love my kids more than my politics, so I just left it up there because I didn't want to fight. Now, did he have a different position than that? Yes, but he loves his kids more than his political position. All right, so I wonder what would happen if we did that. I wonder what would happen if you loved people more than you loved, your position on some issue. I wonder what would happen if, we were close to people who maybe lived different than we did, acted different than we did, voted different than we did. Like, I wonder what would happen if we chose to be close to people that we weren't even close to believing the same things on. I said this last weekend. I'm going to say it again to remind myself. But Jesus didn't call us to make a point. He called us to make a difference. Jesus didn't call us to be right. He called us to be loving. And me as your pastor, my goal isn't to get you to believe what I believe on some political issue or peripheral issue. My goal is to get you to see the love of the one who changed my life, and his name is Jesus. Jesus. And so I had a moment out there at Frontier Town. It's my favorite moment of camping this last weekend. I just thought that was such a good thing. So I'm going to end with this. And I know sometimes back there they play like sad music when I end. So if you guys want to play sad music or you don't, it's up to you. It doesn't matter. But let me say this. I have a friend. It's so different with the music, right? I have a friend. I like it. Thank you. I have a friend, and my friend is so those people. Oh my goodness. He is so those people. He knows everything. Everything. Like he knows everything, and he's right about everything. He knows the right way to run a church. He knows the right way to parent. He knows the right way to have a career. He knows everything. He's one of those people, if he always has the best things. If I get something better than him, he's a one-upper. He'll go and get it. Something better the next time I see him, okay? Anybody know any one-uppers? Yeah. He's right. He thinks he's right about everything. And he must be a doctor, because when COVID happened, he knew all the information that was right, and he knew all the information that was wrong. And he knows the best way to handle your money. He knows the best way to go on vacation. He knows the best places to eat in town and what you should order when you go to that place. He even has this inside track with the government. Like, he knows everything that they're doing right and everything that they're doing wrong. He's out of 8 billion people in the world. He is the rightest person. Some of you are like, I also know him. And maybe you're like, are you worried he's going to hear this and know we're talking about him? No, he has no idea he's one of those people. It's like, woo! He is so right about everything. I was thinking about this week. What if I'm one of those people too? Because let's be honest, I know a lot about a lot. I am the guy with the mic, right? Guys, what if I'm one of those people? And what if you are too? I hate to tell you, but I came to church today to tell you that you are those people. This whole section. Those people. Ooh, there it is. Woo! Frontier town. Woo! Out in the lobby, overflow. Those people. I love it. If you're from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or New York, those people. Butch is like, I'll admit it. Listen, we are all those people. So how are we kind, compassionate, and forgiving to those people? Because we're those people. Well, why can't we just be angry with people? Because, man, that feels good. Well, that gives the devil access to your heart. And you don't really want to do that. Well, why can't we just cut all those people out of our life? Well, if you cut all those people out of your life, you would cut everybody out of your life, because we're all those people. And maybe you do need to cut somebody out of your life. Sometimes that's okay to cut somebody out of your life. Sometimes that's necessary. But it's never necessary to not be kind, compassionate, and forgiving. And I don't know a lot about this subject, but I do know that getting offended and angry is inevitable. But living offended and angry, it's a choice. And that choice is yours. And while you're thinking about that choice this week, just remember that we're all a little bit of those people too. Let me pray for you. Jesus, it's an interesting topic, and it's just a really hard section of Scripture to just work through, because, on paper, so, that's fine. But when we apply it to our life, it's like, whoa, I don't really know if I can really do that with those people. And God, just remind us that we're those people too. And when we have anger and offense in our heart, like, we're going to get angry, we're going to get offended, because we're human and every one of us are sinners, and that's just going to happen. But God, living that way, that's not really the best life you chose for us. And so, God, I just pray that you'll help us to step out of that anger and that offense that we're living in right now. Help us to walk away from it, so that that's not who we become. We don't get our algorithm or heart changed because we're living offended and angry. And so, God, I just pray you'll help us to be kind, compassionate, and forgiving. And that is a miraculous thing to be able to do that. But thank goodness you are the miracle maker. You are the way maker. And so, God, help that miracle to happen in this room, where we can be kind and compassionate and forgiving to those people, because we can't go anywhere or be around anybody without being around those people, because we are those people. And so, God, we just love you, and we thank you that you gave grace to us. Help us to give grace to others, and help us to heal that anger and offense. God, I pray for those who are going to come to our welcome lunch today. Lord, I pray you'll bless the food that we're going to have together. Lord, I pray you'll bless the conversation that we're going to have together. And God, thank you for the people who are coming to our church that are new and giving our church a shot. So God, I just pray for the rest of us, for the rest of our day as we walk out of here, God, that you'll just help us have a great day. In Jesus' name. And everybody said, amen.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Bayshore podcast. I want to encourage you to take this message you just received and allow it to go deep into your soul and let Jesus do the deep work that only he can do. A special thanks to everyone that gives generously to Bayshore. It's because of you that this ministry is possible, creating life change all over the world. You can be a part of spreading the message around the world by going to bayshore.online and clicking Give. For all things Bayshore, visit bayshore.online to find out what your next step may be. You can subscribe right here and share this podcast with your friends and family. Thank you again for listening. God bless you.